A very pleasant evening and excitement begins here at Sports Pavilion, University of Macau. The Wolf Warriors visits your Macau Black Bears on the 9th season of the ASEAN Basketball League. Rise to greatness! Here are the Wolf Warriors. Number 1, Yang Zhu. Number 2, Shetu Yefei.
Miguel.
Number 9, Miguel. Number 12, Jin Sin-jun. Number 13, Corey Bradford. Number 21, Yu Zhu. Number 23, Kai Chen. Number 32, Song Ho Feng. Number 33, Li Jun. Number 42, Sean Harrison. Number 67, Song Chen Chao. The head coach is Matt Skillman with Chi Lan. Yes, it's time to get loud and proud for your Macau Black Bears! Number 1, Anthony Tucker. Number 8, Ryan Watkins. Number 10, Mike McKinney. Number 11, Lai Patong. Number 12, Chad Wai-Seng. Number 15, Nathan Yu. Number 20, Derek King. Number 21, Yu Kong Chi. Number 25, Liu Si-hao. Number 26, Eon K-long. Number 31, Chun Su-chen. Number 48, Lao Chun-pong. Your Macau Black Bears is led by Wu Jiang-jin.
Bringing you action from the University of Macau, it's the ASEAN Basketball League Season 9, Rise to Greatness. Welcome to this coverage. Thank you for joining us. It's a battle between teams, well, with different fates so far here in this tournament. Macau Black Bears quite safe in making it to the next round at 9-7. They are currently 4th in the team standings. As for the Wolf Warriors, trying to rack up as many wins as they can in their last 6 outings as they try to make a last-minute climb to the quarterfinals. Good day to you, basketball fans. Jot Sulit and Noel Zarate here to deliver this game to you. Good day, Noel.
Yeah, it's great to be back here at the University of Macau. We were here actually last week to witness that massacre that the Macau Black Bears did against Hong Kong Eastern. It didn't look like it was going to be a massacre in the first half, but they came away with a 20-point win, hoping to build on that. While the Wolf Warriors, of course, looking to bounce back from that loss against the Formosa Dreamers. Wolf Warriors have not won since defeating Mono Vampire few weeks back. It's been that long.
Yeah, and in that win, it was Mike Taylor who led the way for them in what was a great performance for the import. However, now he's no longer on that lineup.
Yeah.
And, well, the Wolf Warriors will have to find a way to produce a win in a different way, because obviously before Mike Taylor could take over the ball game for them, that's not exactly the case with the cast of imports they're bringing into this game in Corey Bradford, Mike Bell, and Tez Patterson.
Well, you know, what we're seeing right now is we're going to have a photo op with all the team owners for both teams showing that they are united here in the ASEAN Basketball League. And going back to that game, you know, that's actually a swan song of sorts for Mike Taylor. Did score 37 points in that game, which turned out to be his penultimate game with the squad, and eventually was replaced by Corey Bradford. Now, Corey Bradford's averaging close to 19 points a game, trying to get those numbers of Mike Taylor for the Wolf Warriors. But again, the Wolf Warriors need to do this as a team right now. Mike Bell isn't really the most dominating import that you're going to see. Tez Patterson, sometimes he's on, sometimes he's off. So Corey Bradford could be the team leader here, and at 40 years old, he'd better be.
Absolutely, and as you mentioned, it's going to be a tough climb for the Wolf Warriors, currently dead last. The only two teams they defeated in the season, like you said, Mono Vampire, the other one being the Westports Malaysia Dragons.
Actually, they lost against Westports. They actually won against the CLS Knights.
That's right.
Yeah.
Allow me to correct myself there. Indonesia was the other team they beat. Well, if they do get one here in Macau, that's going to be a huge one for the Wolf Warriors, and it could really propel them to something big. Like we said, you know, they're going to need all the positives they can get in their last 6 games. Well, positives?
Yeah.
They came in a very few quantity in their last game against Formosa.
You're right. I was about to say they only fielded in 7 players. There were some visa issues from some of their Chinese nationals not being able to suit up against Formosa Dreamers over in Taipei. But look at this big game from Sun Hifeng. 18 and 12. He's played the most minutes he has all season long in that game. But again, you know, that's a very, very big positive, because Sun Hifeng is now in the starting lineup, almost a complete roster now for the Wolf Warriors, with Chai Chen back in fold.
And also the last time that Macau Black Bears faced Hong Kong Eastern, well, they were very, very good, defeating Hong Kong Eastern by 20 points.
That's 113 to 93, but in the first half, it's a tale of 2 halves, actually. The first half, the Macau Black Bears found themselves behind by 10 points, thanks to Chen Xiu Wing hitting from all angles, but Anthony Tucker only limited to 6 points in the first half. Ended the game with 37. That means he scored 31 in the second half, and I was talking to Anthony Tucker. It shouldn't come to that in this game. They have to get off to a good start. Wolf Warriors, despite the record, Judd, that's a very dangerous squad we're talking about.
No doubt about it. And they have been trying to look for that formula, have been trying to get better and better.
Right.
It's just that the one big issue they're facing is the continuous changes on their roster. They haven't found that mix yet that they want to stick with.
I was talking to Matt Skillman before the game. It's really about, if the locals play very well for the Wolf Warriors, they're going to be okay. So let's see, after that Sun Hifeng explosion and Chai Chen back in the lineup, let's see if that's going to happen today.
Who's got to step up for them here in this game, you think?
I think this guy who just made the first shot, Sun Hifeng, because he's really affected the way they play the defense, the way they play offense, because of the way he actually can produce points and rebounds. And on the defensive end, he's not that bad either.
He was inserted into the lineup midway through the season, and he really has been a revelation for the Wolf Warriors. But for Ryan Watkins and the Macau Black Bears, they haven't changed imports in the entire season.
You're right.
Well, they haven't had to.
They haven't had to, because they've had a winning formula, but it's sort of been a roller coaster for them as well. And for Ryan Watkins, this should be a welcome respite. He was going up against Sam DeGuara and Michael Holyfield in the last game. You're talking about 2 7-footers, but he still performed pretty well, especially in the second half.
One of the many changes that we've seen from the Wolf Warriors is at that guard position. We mentioned Mike Taylor. Before him, there was an Eric Tisby.
Yeah.
So many other guys. Now it's Corey Bradford. What do you think he brings to the table as Tucker hits that 3?
Well, Corey Bradford is actually a natural 2 guard, despite the fact that he's about 6'1". But at the same time, he brings a lot of leadership, being 32 years old. And I like the way they found Sun Hifeng in the post. It sort of relieves Mike Bell having to do the center chores on offense, at least.
The Wolf Warriors going with a zone here very early in the game. Let's see how that works out. Yu leaves it for McKinney. Nathan Yu, a dead shot from deep. Doesn't get the bounce there. Bell collects the rebound.
Well, Nathan Yu and Derek King actually had great shooting performances against Hong Kong in their last game.
Nathan Yu, he's proven time and time again that that's the biggest reason he's on that squad, to knock down those outside shots. But the help they got from Derek King, it was very much welcome for Macau. You again, second miss for him, and another rebound for Bell.
And again, you know, shooters have to keep on shooting. And if he didn't get his stroke in the first two, he shouldn't be gun shy. He was left open twice. He's got to make them pay next time around.
Eventually, the Wolf Warriors will realize that, nope, we cannot leave Nathan Yu open.
That's true.
Bradford, also the second miss for him. Buckets have come a few here to open up the ball game.
And this should favor the Wolf Warriors right now. They've got 11 players as opposed to only 7, but they're pretty weary from that road loss against Formosa.
Well, that's one guy they have to focus on the defensive end. Mike McKinney can score in 1,000,001 different ways.
That's
that
right.
time shows the floater.
No, I actually made a comment about Mike McKinney in the last game. He reminds me of Rip Hamilton, the way he actually knocks down 10 to 12 footers. That's where he's most effective. Not really the threes when he drives. There's so many people that can collapse on him, but the 10 to 12 footers, that in-between shot, which is a dying art in basketball, Mike McKinney still has that in his arsenal.
The biggest difference, perhaps, between Hamilton and McKinney is that you put the ball in McKinney's hands, he finds a way to create for himself and for his teammates as well. As you see him, a 3-ball already. That's 5 quick points for McKinney.
That is 5 points in a row. And Wolf Warriors have to find an answer real quick.
A quick trigger. Chai Chen, he has been a provider for the Wolf Warriors.
Right, you know, if the Wolf Warriors actually had a better record, Chai Chen would probably contend for local MVP the way he's been playing. But nice to see him back in the lineup. He missed that game against Formosa, one of the 5 players who didn't make the trip.
Wolf Warriors again on offense. They forced a miss. Sun He Feng, he has been very productive early in this game.
And he's grown confidence after getting all those minutes against Formosa, already with 4 points in this game.
Tucker looking to answer. You know, when Tucker moves, it looks so easy, but you try the moves he pulls out.
Well, I was talking to Alab coach Jimmy Alapag on the way here. They're actually Alab's here already. He's saying that he's so balanced, it's so hard to get him off his block. The way he actually has a great center of gravity.
And you mentioned, Noel, Alab Pilipinas being here in Macau already. They will play the home team tomorrow, so it's going to be a back-to-back affair for the Macau Black Bears. Their first back-to-backs of this season, actually.
Right, and their schedule doesn't get any easier. Oh, wow, Ryan Watkins.
Their schedule, not easy, but three-pointers have been pretty easy for them here in the first.
Well, in this building, they shoot really, really well. I remember that game they had against Formosa when they had like 16 combined three-pointers with the Formosa Dreamers in the first half. So this is one of the places where they shoot better, and they're one of the best home teams in the ABL.
Chai Chen trying to pull out a version of his three. That doesn't work. Running start for McKinney. Shovels it to Tucker. Back to McKinney. Open from outside. Not this time.
Well, that's part of the offense of the Macau Black Bears, those transition threes. And Mike McKinney's actually shot more threes than he had the entire game against Hong Kong here in the first quarter.
Nice pass. Bradford to Bell. Mike couldn't score, though. The defense of Watkins there. McKinney, a show of shiftiness. However, he was fouled by Bradford. You know, when McKinney is pulling out moves like that, fouling is really the only choice you have.
Well, again, for Bradford, he got the first step here. As you see it again, you know, he had that shake and bake move. Corey Bradford just tried to reach in and stop him, and Matt Skillman seen enough right here. They're down by 9.
You're still watching the Season 9 of the ASEAN Basketball League. Thank you for joining us. This one is between the Macau Black Bears and the Zhuhai Wolf Warriors. Right now, the Black Bears are up by 9 points, mainly because of their outside shooting. has been very effective to start this ball game.
And their defense, Judd, really hasn't kicked in so far. I mean, they're allowing a lot of open looks like this one again. Mike McKinney already with 7 in the game, and he's only missed twice.
We did mention that guy is someone who usually earns the respect of the defense, exactly what he's doing here to open up the game. Mike Bell may have advantage against Derek King. However, Bell did not really try to move King further into the basket.
That's right. Mike Bell's not really known for his post-up moves, and Matt Skillman hoping that changes here today. He'll see a lot of mismatches. He's 6'9", and he's not. You're right. He's got to move those guys from the low block, get Macau away from playing this zone defense.
Patterson. None of the imports of the Wolf Warriors has scored yet here in the first quarter.
Right.
This is more like a Bell move. Got to the basket, however, kicked it out to Bradford.
And Bradford actually touched it last. Anthony Tucker was at the scene trying to make life difficult for Bradford. Now, Bradford's going to be the mark man here. He's their best outside shooter. The problem with this is he has to play point guard as well in the absence of Chris Shentu, who's still nursing that ankle injury he sustained in that game against Alab a couple of weeks ago.
McKinney tried to get it to Lai. Ball deflected, recovered by King. Lai, good spin there, and the reverse layup.
Great find also by Anthony Tucker, giving Lai Katong all sorts of space to move. They call Lai Katong the Yao Ming of Macau, and he showed it there. We have yet to see the Yi Jian Lian of Macau come in. Chan Zhong Chan, who had a great debut in their last game against Hong Kong.
Bell from outside. McKinney gets that rebound. McKinney to Chan. Doesn't get that roll there.
Well, but Mike Bell has missed his first 4 shots in this game, and they were even hardly challenged.
Bell 0 for 3 right now from the field.
There you go, 0 for 3.
Patterson, the turnaround. Finally a bucket for an import of the Wolf Warriors.
And it's very important for Tez Patterson to get involved in this offense. You know, we've seen him since his first game, which is ironically against Macau over in Foshan, where he didn't have an auspicious debut, and he's been hot and cold. He's averaging 16 a game, but sometimes he gets most of his points in garbage time. He's got to be a factor starting here in the first quarter.
Bradford complaining about that call, but I thought it was pretty clear that he fouled Katong. You see that forearm stuck it on the back of the Macau local. Problem for Coach Mu Jun Chan is that's already the second foul of his import. 7 seconds on the shot clock now for the Black Bears. Tucker, ever so steady, misses that time though, but the recovery taken by Lau. From outside, oh boy. Anthony Tucker missed the open deuce. He got the 3-pointer.
And he's just a veteran, you know. He missed that one, recalibrated, extended his range, and now look at this. They're extending this lead to 14.
And you see the way Tucker moves. It's just so smooth, so effortless. And that's why he can play for all 40 minutes of a game. He's averaging 39.5.
That's right. You know, I was talking to Coach Jimmy Alapag of Alab, Pilipinas, and I was asking him who you think is the best point guard that's played this season so far. So the names of Jason Brickman and Anthony Tucker came in, but he said that Anthony Tucker can just take over a game at a moment's notice, as we see that last play, Mike Bell trying to get creative. But, you know, Anthony Tucker, if he can't score, remember, you and I did that game in Foshan where he only had 8 points, and they won by what, 30-something, because he had like 19 assists.
Absolutely, and I remember also covering a game where Tucker, he was struggling initially.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, he started out 2 for 8 from the field, and then suddenly, by the fourth quarter, when the fourth quarter came, as McKinney, oh boy, hot shooting.
Great start
for the Black Bears. And by the time that game ended, Tucker ended up as the leading scorer of his squad.
Right, you know, you just have to go back a few days ago, right in this building when they were up against Hong Kong. Hong Kong did a great job in keeping Anthony Tucker down to, 6 points and 3 assists in the first half. He ended up with 37 points and 9 assists in the game, hardly even breaking a sweat when they figured out how to break the defense of Hong Kong. And Marcus Elliott struggled in that second half as Mike Bell is able to get that slam dunk. because of primarily the defense of Anthony Tucker.
You know, for the Wolf Warriors, they're starting to find the gaps in the defense of Macau. They're starting to attack that mismatch Bell has over Derek King. Anthony Tucker misses this time.
Well, they can take the last shot here if they play it wisely.
Liu. Chai Chen asking for it against Tucker. They go to Bell. 10 seconds remaining.
They didn't set anything up here.
Bradford finally gets to that basketball. 5 seconds left. Trying to get past King. Corey Bradford missing. McKinney will no longer be able to make an attempt. Well, that came after the buzzer. At the end of the first 10 minutes of action, Macau shooting very, very well, building a 14-point advantage at the end of the first quarter. One quarter in the books here inside the University of Macau. The Black Bears, the home team, up by 14 points, 25-11. Jotsulit and Noel Zarate on deck to serve you this ball game. Noel, the first quarter, the imports set the tone. For the Black Bears, their imports combined for 23 of the 25 points, shooting 9 for 13 from the field. The imports of the Wolf Warriors, only 5 points combined on 2 for 10 shooting.
You know, it was a bad start for Mike Bell and also for Corey Bradford. They're still trying to look for their shot, but you know, you're talking about Ryan Watkins hit a big 3 earlier. Lai Katong actually had a reverse layup. These guys are just having their way right now in terms of offense. So the Black Bears, or make that the Wolf Warriors, have to step it up in terms of defense. They're playing a shifting zone right now, but with the way the Wolf Warriors are allowing all of these outside shots, like this one from Anthony Tucker, almost unchallenged, something's got to change in their defense.
And whenever the Wolf Warriors are forcing the Black Bears to miss, Mike Bell usually gets the rebound, so that's a good start to the possession. However, they usually fail to score. As you see that time, Bell, an unforced turnover. The defense actually gave him space, but he just lost it by himself.
And yeah, they questioned his handling ability of the basketball, and he ended up losing it out of bounds. But you're right, no, Mike Bell can trigger out a lot of fast break attempts. The problem is the transition of the Macau Black Bears is also good, and Mike McKinney is having a fantastic start to this game.
One big problem, that is Mike McKinney. He's got 12 points already. He has outscored the entire Wolf Warriors by himself.
Right, and he's getting scot-free to the rim. He's practically allowed to do anything he wants at this juncture. You got to look for somebody who can actually stay in front of him. And that's not happening so far for the Wolf Warriors.
That's 13 points now for McKinney. Has only missed 1 shot. 5 of 6 from the field.
Yeah.
Yan Shu has checked into the game. Chai defended well. Needed 2 defenders to stop him, but the Black Bears successful in getting the possession. McKinney again from outside. Second miss for him. And that ball is going to go the Wolf Warriors' way.
And again, if you're Anthony Tucker, you had so many options, but you're looking for the hot hand. Just continue feeding Mike McKinney. He missed that time in transition 3. But again, that's part of their offense, and it's a part of their offense also that Anthony Tucker finds the right man at the right time.
Defense.
Here come the Wolf Warriors, now down by 17. offense not really clicking for them. Well, that's gonna be that could be a spark as Miguel gets his second field goal.
Yeah, but the thing is also there was nobody there for the rebound in case he missed it. There's got to be another option, at least through Chai Chen, who hasn't really touched the basketball here in the second quarter.
McKinney, still the hot hand, the shiftiness. He got fouled there, almost a traveling violation, but the foul came before that.
Yeah, Yanzu actually put a hand in there, was shaking his head because he knew he was beaten off the dribble, had to do something. But that foul is going to send Mike McKinney to the line. You know, keep himself warm. It's kind of chilly outside, but he's keeping himself warm right now with 13 points so far, hardly even breaking a sweat in achieving that.
You know, you're right. It's a chilly and pretty gloomy
day
right here in Macau.
Yeah.
Well, these two teams with the environment, and of course, it's just a bridge, really, that's separating Zhuhai from Macau. So they're pretty much working in the same environment, atmosphere, climate. Not a lot of difference there, but skill level here, so far, Macau ahead. And also the numbers, we haven't seen a lot of players on the floor for Coach Matt Skillman.
That's great recognition by the Wolf Warriors looking for the open shot. They get it from Corey Bradford. Good patience. You know, most of their offense starts from Mike Bell. This time they were rewarded with that three-pointer from Corey Bradford.
Bradford, 3 games he's played for his squad, 18.7 points. Watkins, that's going to be a hook, an offensive foul on him. From the angle we had, it was very clear.
It was very, very clear because Watkins was a little overzealous because when they ran that pick and roll, he saw that he had somebody really small against him and decided to just bully his way in. The referees caught it.
Good call by our officials.
Yeah, we have our crew chief is from the Philippines, Glenn Cornelio, then Johan Cristiana from Indonesia, and Shin Gi-rok of Korea.
Lau Chonpong thought that he had all ball, but they have gotten a bit of, I'm not sure if it's the head or the arm of Sun Hefeng that he caught. Nonetheless, Sun heading to the free throw line for a pair.
Well, he's giving up a lot of inches against Sun Hefeng, and again, oozing with confidence after that game that they had against Formosa, where they only fielded in 7 players. They were actually in that game. That had a tied score in the third quarter at 65 all, but then they started running out of steam, and Formosa, you know, leaning on the deeper bench, was able to get the victory here. And that has been the story of the Wolf Warriors all season long, Jet. They're in the game, you know, until the third, probably even early fourth quarter, and then they just run out of steam. They just have no end game to put the game away. Against the West Sports Malaysia Dragons, they were up by 12 in the fourth quarter and lost that game by 1. So they're probably just one veteran or one key local away from becoming very relevant here. They still have time. They still have 6 more games remaining, including this one.
Good energy so far from Sun Hefeng.
Yeah.
And you know, before that game against Formosa, he was just averaging about 2 points per game.
He wasn't even averaging any minutes. Because,
exactly.
Because the way Mike Bell has been playing. But again, they discovered that he can actually play a lot of minutes and, you know, be a compliment to Chai Chen as well. That allows actually Chai Chen to slide to the 3 spot, which is his natural position at 6'8".
An offensive foul, though, called on McKinney. You'll see it here. He'll try to snatch back, but the left forearm, trying to create that separation.
Yeah, that's all Matt Skillman wants for Yanzu, is just to stay in front of Mike McKinney, just make him think about driving, make him think about what he needs to do next. They'll get an advantage if he keeps on doing that.
That's easier said than done, though.
Yeah, I know that, but he was successful twice already.
Yeah, that's right. Bradford misses. He hit one earlier. Thought that could get him going. Not yet, maybe. McKinney, he has been on fire. May have cooled down, though. 3rd consecutive miss for him.
Oh, what a save by Watkins.
Look at the dribbling display from McKinney. Watkins slipped. Kicked it out. 3 seconds. Yu puts it up. No. But the recovery for McKinney, Lai even hitting him on the face, his teammate.
Great composure there by Anthony Tucker, and that leads to the second chance opportunity. Anthony Tucker, with 3 seconds left of the shot clock, did a Joe Montana and found a teammate, and they were still able to recycle those points.
Under 6 minutes remaining here in the first half. Mike Bell getting those mid-range jumpers. Now, Bell, you mentioned that he doesn't really have that post-up game.
Yeah.
Those are the shots that he likes taking.
He likes to be a frontal assault person, and if he's making these shots, you know, Macau's got to respect that.
Sun bothered by Watkins, and it's going to be Wolf Warriors basketball. Ryan saying that he did not get any piece of the body of the Wolf Warrior, but a foul is called on him.
Yeah, Ryan Watkins picks up his second foul, though. He better watch it. And this is going to be a rare rest for Corey Bradford, as Jung is going to check in and probably play about 3 or 4 minutes in relief. They still have a chance of actually knocking out some points from this lead. If they can cut it down to 10 or 12 at the half, they'd be in this game.
Patterson tried to get it to Bell, taken away by Lai Katong. Here's Tucker. The sudden burst of speed out to Watkins. Ryan Watkins from deep.
That's how basketball has changed, the evolution of basketball. You got the small man driving in and the big man lining up for a three. Second three of the game for Ryan Watkins.
That is the 6th three-pointer of the Black Bears here in this game. Bell underneath. Got it to Jong. 6 seconds remaining. Liu will have to take it from outside. Hits nothing. And that will go back to the Black Bears.
Yeah, that all started when Mike Bell got pinned underneath. He needed to muscle his way in, but chose to be passive and move the ball around. That ends up in that air ball.
35-18. It's a 17-point lead for the Black Bears. We have a timeout. Bringing you the continuing action of Season 9 of the ASEAN Basketball League, wherever you're watching this game from. Hello, and thank you for joining us. Jotsulit and Noel Zarate. The Black Bears up by 17 points over their neighbors, the Wolf Warriors of Zhuhai. 4:40 remaining in the second quarter. Noel, what has been the story of this match so far?
And they've been sharing the ball a lot. You know, Mike McKinney staying aggressive. If Mike Bell can be as aggressive as Mike McKinney on the other end, we probably have a closer ball game. But Mike McKinney has just, gone on automatic mode here. 17 points already here in the first half.
And he's really not letting the Wolf Warriors get away from his point total.
It's like a personal duel, him against the rest of the Wolf Warriors.
Tucker missing on that three. And I thought that the Macau Black Bears, they were just very loose entering this ball game, and that's the positive kind of loose. When they were warming up, McKinney, Watkins, and Tucker, they were just freely moving that basketball. It looked like a drill.
Yeah.
They were running maybe half an hour before the game began,
right,
and they were just having a lot of fun together.
And they're on a big confidence surge right now. That was an important win they had against Hong Kong Eastern in this building. And they know that they can beat the Wolf Warriors if they just play their game. And so far, they are playing their game. The Wolf Warriors haven't been able to stop them.
Bell getting 2 more points there and will also have a chance to get the bonus. And I think we're really seeing, Noel, the difference in how the Black Bears went with their imports and the Wolf Warriors. Obviously, the teams know best when a formula is not working, and sometimes there really is a need to replace an import, be it for reasons of the team or even personal reasons of an import. I know Mike Taylor had an offer that he could not resist elsewhere, but you see McKinney, Tucker, and Watkins. We get a chance to see them whenever they're traveling. The 3 of them hang out together.
Yeah, they
they
bond.
really have a lot of fun being in one unit.
And as Anthony Tucker hits another three, it's also the familiarity that works out in the entire season. Now, it really hasn't been successful for them all throughout. 9 wins and 7 losses. They've had their ups and downs as a team. But, being together, working together, they can actually bounce back. Okay, we lost. Let's bounce back the next game. I don't remember them losing more than twice in a row this season so far. So, this team is playoff bound, as you said. They just need to get everybody else involved on the same page. And, with the way they've been shooting the ball of late, these 3 guys are going to get some help come playoff time.
You did mention that they are heading for the playoffs already. Haven't really clinched their
really
seat,
clinched.
but yeah. I get what you mean there, but they are going to have a tough next 30 days.
You're right.
They are going to play 10 games from February 27th to March 20th, and that's because at this point of the season, they are the team who has played the least number of games.
That's true, and 3 of those games will be against San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, the #1 team in the league, and they have yet to be tested again by the Formosa Dreamers. They actually lost against Formosa in this building a few weeks ago.
So that means
it doesn't get easy.
3 games against the current best team, and 3 games as well against the second best team in the league.
And that's why they need to rack up teams that they actually have an advantage over, at least in terms of the standings. Wolf Warriors being one of them. Tomorrow they will be tested against Alab Pilipinas. And Alab's playing really great basketball ever since losing to Hong Kong just a few days ago.
There are teams you've seen in the ABL who really respond very well to losses.
Yeah.
The Macau Black Bears being
You're
one.
absolutely right. Macau, as I said, they haven't lost 3 in a row all season long. And it's because of the way they trust each other right there. That was a fast break for Tez Patterson. It could have been given up on, but no, they didn't.
Lai Ka-tong making the effort there, but Tucker misses on the 3-point attempt. 1:45 remaining in the first half. Macau is still doubling the output of the Wolf Warriors. And you see here, that's very important to point out, Noel, that on the defensive end, you don't necessarily have to make blocks and steals. Sometimes a mere deflection already causes a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that's why they're staying with his zone defense. Even if they're giving up a few more points than they did in the first quarter, because this zone defense actually allows them to tap the ball away in terms of the passing lanes. But if Tez Patterson can warm up, that zone defense might have to be junked.
Exactly. That's the best way to counter a zone defense. Hit your outside shots. But for the Wolf Warriors, that's only their second conversion from deep. The other one coming from Bradford. McKinney forced to a bad shot there. Chai Chen. Tapped by Nathan Yu. Again, another deflection. Chen was already in comfort zone, 2 feet away from the basket. Patterson halfway down.
He's got to keep on shooting that one. Going back to that Chai Chen play, if he had caught the ball, he was shooting it before he caught it. If he had caught that ball, that would have been a layup easily.
45 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Bradford trying to make sure that his team gets something going before the first half ends. Liu out to Tez. Patterson looking for an opportunity. 2 seconds remaining, nothing much happening. Patterson bails the Wolf Warriors out with a 3.
This is good for Tez Patterson. He's already come up with what? Got 8 points so far in this game. That's going to be very important in the second half. They have it down to 15. They can make a ball game out of this if Patterson becomes involved in the offense.
Last shot time for the Macau Black Bears. McKinney with the basketball against Bradford. McKinney splitting the defense. Puts it up, one-hander is good. Mike McKinney, a scoring machine, and he has been on a tear. McKinney with 19 points, leading the way for the Black Bears to get this 17-point lead at the half.
Yeah, he's actually making a habit already of getting these buzzer beaters down at the right time. Remember against the Westport's Malaysia Dragons, he just threw one up, and then he made it. And again, Mike McKinney with a great first half. And the Wolf Warriors have a lot to talk about here at the halftime break.
It's halftime here inside the N8 Sports Complex inside the University of Macau, with the home team, the Macau Black Bears, up against the Zhuhai Wolf Warriors, 44-27. It's a good first half as it can be for the home team.
Yeah, 42% shooting is so not bad against a team that only shot 33.3% from deep, 7 of 24 from three-point range for the Macau Black Bears. Mike McKinney leading the way now with 19 points and 7 rebounds. However, for the other end, you know, you take a look at the assist total, it's still the same. One number that really jumps out at me right now is that the Macau Black Bears have only turned the ball over twice the entire game on 2 offensive fouls.
Wow.
6 turnovers ain't that bad either for the Wolf Warriors. They're just not making their shots. I was talking to Matt Skillman. All you need to do is make shots. That's what he was saying during the halftime break. Let's see if they can get that done here in the second half.
The Wolf Warriors shooting 33%.
Terrible, right?
And, well, the Macau Black Bears at 42%. The great thing right now favoring the Black Bears is they have 7 more attempts compared to the Wolf Warriors. And it has been the effort of Ryan Watkins underneath that has opened that up. One important factor too, Noel. Yes, only 6 turnovers for the Wolf Warriors. But the Macau Black Bears have scored 10 points off of those errors, while 0 turnover points for the Wolf Warriors.
It's just a transition defense that they need to adjust here, but they also need to make their shots. Mike Bell and Tez Patterson started getting warmed up towards the end of that second quarter. If they can keep that up, we could have a ball game here.
Only 4 guys have scored actually for the Black Bears. And in any other case, that's good defense for a team. But then the 3 guys from those, as Bell completes that alley-oop play. Oh, the 3 guys in those 4 players are the imports. And Watkins, McKinney, and Tucker have combined for 40 of the 44 points of Macau.
And they're all in double figures as well, so that's not a good sign for the defense of the Wolf Warriors. But they're forcing misses right now, and they made their first shot, so that's a good sign to start this third quarter.
And that really speaks of the talent, the skill of the imports of the Macau Black Bears. Heading into a game against them, you take a look at the averages of these players, and you know that this team will depend on their imports, yet it's still so difficult to come up with a game plan to stop them.
Well, not only that, you know, when the locals get started, like right now, you got Nathan Yu wide open. When they get started, it's going to be a nightmare for the defense of any team that goes up against the Macau Black Bears.
Pretty surprising, actually, that Yu has missed all 4 of his attempts, mainly because a couple of those were wide open threes.
Yeah.
His specialty. Patterson got into a rhythm late in that second quarter. Misses his first attempt of the third. Tucker to Lai. Lai is the other guy who has scored for Macau, has 4 points.
Yeah, but now they're starting to turn the ball over as well. Wow, Anthony Tucker's everywhere.
Alley-oop! Ryan Watkins with the oop. Tucker with the alley.
Talk about redeeming yourself for a boo-boo earlier. Anthony Tucker just got the ball back, and Ryan Watkins scot-free for the dunk.
17-point lead again for the Black Bears. Sun missing.
They're getting the shots they want. They're just not falling right now.
Back to Watkins again. The ball movement of Macau on full display here in the third.
Matt Skillman is livid in the sidelines because of the way his team is playing defense right now, allowing so many easy shots.
Sun Hefeng. Not a lot of movement for the Wolf Warriors. They get a shot by the baseline. Tez Patterson wanted to clean it up, but still missed. Here's Tucker. Look at how steady Anthony Tucker is, even with the pressure of Corey Bradford. McKinney missing an open 3. Lucky break there for the Wolf Warriors.
And again, there's 0 perimeter defense as well for the Wolf Warriors. They dodged the bullet that time.
7 minutes and change remaining in the third quarter. The first half went by so quickly. Again, also because of the number of turnovers, which was just 8 combined for these 2 teams.
Yeah, neither team went into the penalty as well. They're not going to get this one off, though. They did, but it's not a good offense once again.
However,
and Macau's turning it over right now, Judd.
And this is an opening that the Wolf Warriors need to capitalize on. 6:49 left in the third. That's a lot of time for them to mount a comeback.
Well, we're going to have our first look now at Chan Zhongqian. They call him the Yi Jianlian of Macau. He actually had a great debut against Hong Kong.
He played in the second quarter and now making his return. But you're right, you know, we didn't feel his impact yet during his last stint on the floor. Let's see if he can come up with positives for his squad. Another open three. Takes one dribble in, but just could not calibrate his shot well here.
Well, we haven't even seen Derek King yet on the floor for the Macau Black Bears, but the outside shooting of the locals will be very important if Macau wants to get this victory against the Wolf Warriors convincingly.
Chan fouling Bradford there. You'll see this. He'll try to close that baseline, but used a nudge. And the FIBA rule is if the referees catch you impeding the path, the natural movement of an offensive player, that's obviously a foul.
And that time he was really impeded.
Bradford again. His attack to the basket was stopped. Only 6 seconds remain on the shot clock of the Wolf Warriors.
And Bradford is doing his best to be the point guard of this team right now. But he needs some help in terms of the ball movement.
Chai Chen usually makes shots like that, but could not get it that time.
Yeah, Chai Chen was 1 of 5 in the first half.
McKinney out to Tucker. Macau will reset their offense. 10 seconds on their 24. Tucker against Liu. Anthony by the elbow. And, you know, with the 19-point lead that the Macau Black Bears are enjoying, we can't even say that Anthony Tucker is having a good game. He's been missing shots that he usually makes.
And you have to remember the last time these two teams met over in Foshan, Anthony Tucker only had 8 points in that game, but dished out 19 assists, and they won by a mile. Now, you have to think, there was no Mike Taylor in that game for the Wolf Warriors. Tez Patterson was new. But it was just the ball movement, everybody getting involved. That's, I believe, the goal of Anthony Tucker is to get everybody involved here as well. Yeah, Tucker was today's 4 of 13 with 7 rebounds, 7 assists. And they're leading by what, 18?
It's the crazy thing about how talented Anthony Tucker is.
Yeah.
We're saying that, okay, he's not having the best of games, yet he's still flirting with the triple-double, and we're just in the third quarter.
Yeah, but again, if he was up against a team like maybe Alab, Pilipinas, or Formosa, that could be detrimental to their cause. Luckily for them, they're up by 17, but they're still not out of the woods here. Still a lot of time remaining in this game.
Absolutely, and you know, with the big lead that they already have, of course, the Macau Black Bears would want that number to go as high as it can, maybe to give their imports some rest, and that's why Mike McKinney is going to work here in the third.
I don't think their imports need any rest, or they're used to resting. Mike McKinney still at full throttle after hitting that buzzer beater to end the first half. And we do see Derek King on the floor already, so Nathan Yu doesn't work right now, but Derek King, boy, he shot the lights out against Hong Kong.
I'm curious as to how the minutes towards the end of this game, if it comes to a point where the Black Bears are sure that they are going to go home with a victory here, how does Coach Mu manage the minutes of his players, knowing that they face the defending champions, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, tomorrow in the same gym?
Well, that's the goal right now, is to actually blow out the Wolf Warriors, have your starters rest. It doesn't matter if you win by 20 points or you win by 5 points, as long as you win. And Anthony Tucker, despite the 4 of 13 shooting, he's going to continue shooting. You know, I believe the Alab coaching staff is in the building right now, getting as many notes as they can against the Black Bears. They know probably down the line this could be a potential playoff matchup. Macau versus San Miguel Alab Pilipinas.
And Macau, the core of that squad, well, at least McKinney and Tucker, they played last year for Chong Son Kung Fu. And they had a lot of nice battles with Alab Pilipinas. Something we have to watch out for this season. Mike Bell getting fouled here as that stoppage leads us to a timeout. Mike McKinney still leading the way for the Macau Black Bears. Well, he's kind of far now from the total of the Wolf Warriors, but he has still been the leader of this attack for the Black Bears.
That would have been a really savage goal to actually outscore an entire team.
By himself.
Yeah, by himself. You know, he can actually do it. Wolf Warriors are actually starting to pick up in terms of their defensive flow a bit, forcing a bit of a few turnovers here and there, but they're still not making their shots, despite the double-double right now for Mike Bell, who's got 13 and 11.
Well, Mike Bell, he has been the steadiest name on that Wolf Warriors team when it comes to imports. Has been there since the early goings of the season. But he's not really the kind of guy you circle your franchise around.
Right. He's not even he doesn't even speak much. I mean, he's a leader by example at the age of 36. But at the same time, you sort of miss a guy like Mike Taylor, give me the ball, get out of the way, or even an Eddie Curry who just asserts himself in the paint. Chai Chen with a great block there on Ryan Watkins. So they don't have that vocal leader in terms of the import. Maybe Corey Bradford can step into that role. But again, Bradford is new, despite the fact that he's 40 years old. Great stop there coming from Chai Chen.
Those are the positives. Well, you know what? I take that back. Because they stopped the two.
Yeah, they set up Anthony Tucker. That's not even fair anymore.
They blocked the two-pointer, but then Anthony Tucker gets it back and hits a three-pointer that looked off balance, and now Macau is up by 24.
I don't think Anthony Tucker ever gets off balance. When he
that story you had earlier, yeah.
He got great center of gravity. He's 6'3", 6'4", but you know his balance is always on point.
Watkins underneath. Ryan also working with a double-double now. Could not add more points to his total. You getting that rebound. Looking at the roster of the Wolf Warriors right now, sometimes you really need that one guy you can play your offense through, as you see that connection between Bradford and Chai Chen. Who is that guy you can identify?
It's supposed to be Chai Chen really right now. He's not having a good offensive game, but we've seen Chai Chen go off for, 26, 28 points in some of the games they've played. And those games, they've kept it close towards the end. They just don't have that finishing kick. Going back to the imports that you were talking about, if they actually had kept Mike Miller, Mike Taylor, and Eddie Curry, and the team evolved around them, this would have been a different story. But again, if you look at some of the losses of the Wolf Warriors, some of them were actually close losses. They lost in the fourth quarter, so they're just one or two players away from being very relevant here in this league.
I like that suggestion, though. Mike Miller could really help this team because they're 3 for 18 from downtown right now.
Well, yeah, it's a former NBA Rookie of the Year that we're talking about there. But, you know, again, one or two players is a new franchise. They're in it for the long haul. So if they can get one good local, really good local, and they found one in Chai Chen, but Mike McKinney's just unconscious today.
And you know what?
They get a good import, they're going to be relevant.
You know what? I'm looking at the coaching staff of San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, as we mentioned, watching this game, taking down notes, and they're just shaking their heads because of the explosion and the unstoppability of Mike McKinney.
That's a new
here.
word. That's a new word. We'll live with that.
Back here inside the University of Macau, the continuation of this ball game between the Macau Black Bears and the Wolf Warriors. You know, well, it's still about 13 minutes remaining in this game, and a 22-point lead should not be safe with a full quarter left. But if the Wolf Warriors are to get back in this game, where does that surge need to start?
Stop this guy at the free throw line. He's already tearing them apart. with 24 points and 8 rebounds. And those 8 rebounds, that's a big bonus for what the Macau Black Bears are doing. Easier said than done because Mike McKinney is on automatic. But if they zone again, yeah, you probably live with his Anthony Tucker three-pointers. But if you zone again, that sort of prevents Mike McKinney from getting creative inside.
However, the shot's still not falling for Wolf Warriors, and Mike Bell said, you know what, I'm going to make sure of this.
Yeah, and Mike Bell's doing his job right now, picking up these offensive rebounds. Chai Chen, he's gotten a few buckets here already. He needs to help out.
Here's Tucker, slithering through the defense, out to King. First look at Derek King. One up, one down.
Love the shooting form of Derek King. That was in full display against Hong Kong. He's seeing limited minutes in this one because they're trying to get Nathan Yu to play more defense. But, you know, if he gets warmed up, that's going to be a big problem for the Wolf Warriors in their comeback efforts.
And Derek King really finding his role in that squad. I think that's what's important for the locals of the Macau Black Bears, especially as they prepare for what could be a playoff push for the team. It will be important they start to find their rhythm as well as Bradford hits from outside.
Yeah, but they got to make sure that they have something in reserve come playoff time. They've always shown all their cards so far this season. They've met with moderate success in doing that, but the bigger teams, you know, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas with a PJ Ramos, Ronaldo Balkman, Formosa Dreamers with an Artino in that lineup, and even Hong Kong Eastern with Sam Digwaran. Right now, Michael Holyfield. We don't know who was going to be shipped out of that lineup when O'Darian Bassett comes back in. But again, the bigger teams are looking at Macau and saying, all we need to do is use our size. Wolf Warriors don't have that against the Black Bears today.
You know, going back to your topic on the Hong Kong Eastern, right after their win against San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, Holyfield's first game, I asked Coach Edu Torres, what's your plan when O'Darian Bassett is healthy again?
Yeah.
And what he told me was that you can ask me about next game and maybe the game after that, but don't ask me about 3 weeks from now yet. And I thought that loss they suffered against the Macau Black Bears made them realize that, okay, we don't have the perfect formula yet.
Yeah, but again, they got themselves a double-double machine as Chai Chen misses from the outside. He's an automatic double-double machine. I mean, 6'11", good nose for the ball, Michael Holyfield. And O'Darian Bassett, I talked to him after that win right here in this building, and he said he'll be back in March too. I asked who you're replacing. I don't know yet.
That's very, very interesting. Bell getting an easy bucket underneath. Yanshu, great recognition.
And Macau Black Bears defense sort of loosening up a bit in terms of transition. They are up by 22 right now, but you can't show any form of complacency against this Wolf Warriors squad. They can heat up in an instant. Anthony Tucker is just on automatic as well, you know. If you have Mike McKinney shooting well and everybody else doesn't really contribute, that's fine. You know, you can still get a victory. But if Tucker and Mike McKinney work together and they're piling up all these points, well, McKinney's got 25, Tucker's got 19. That's almost guaranteeing a win if you're the Macau Black Bears.
Yanshu stroking it. A difficult shot, but he still converts. 3 seconds remaining. Is this gonna be another McKinney buzzer beater? Not this time.
Looks like we have a few people here who were betting on that one.
There
Fell
were
off their
some
chairs.
big reactions when McKinney missed that one. But the reactions from the faithfuls of the Macau Black Bears, they are very happy as this is now a 22-point lead for the Macau Black Bears with only 10 minutes remaining in this ball game. and before we get going with the fourth quarter, a big greeting to our boss, the COO of the ABL. Happy birthday, Mr. Jericho Ilagan. Turns a very special number tomorrow.
Well, you know, he's been a very special person for this league, and I keep on saying that. I can't say enough good things about Jericho Ilagan, the way he's transformed this league into what it is today. It's one of the premier leagues that everybody wants to play for, and it's because of what Jericho has done over the years for the ABL, that the ABL is one of the most relevant leagues in Asia right now.
Absolutely. And now we are witnessing the Macau Black Bears and the Wolf Warriors, you know, Macau and China, two of the expansion countries of this league, like Katong, taking that beautiful feed from Anthony Tucker.
Now you're asking about the imports. Ryan Watkins not on the floor to begin the fourth quarter. If things go well, he doesn't have to be back on the floor for the Macau Black Bears.
That is the ideal situation for them. Bradford cleaned the rim before that ball went through.
Now shooting around here before the game, the rim on this side where the Wolf Warriors are shooting is more forgiving. I don't know if it's my shot, but it's more forgiving than the rim where the Macau Black Bears are shooting, but that doesn't reflect on the scoreboard.
And yes, to all our viewers, listeners, that is how Noel warms up for a coverage. He also warms up like a player.
Yeah, we gotta check out the gym. You know, I'm saying that, you know, when we're at Stadium 29 over in Bangkok, that is one of the best gyms that you can actually shoot around in before
because
the game.
It also is very important for you to understand why a certain team could possibly struggle from the field.
No, that's just part of us being former basketball players as well here, Jot. But, you know, this place, this University of Macau gym is such a great venue for the ASEAN Basketball League, and I can't wait for this place to fill up during playoff time. And we were talking about it, Macau Black Bears not officially clinching the playoffs yet. We've only got two teams that's done that so far, the San Miguel Alab Pilipinas and the Formosa Dreamers. But, you know, they are poised to make it to the playoffs. Whether they get home court advantage is going to be a different story altogether, as we see that drive by Yan Zhu earlier. But this place, if it gets filled up, and we expect probably tomorrow some of the Filipino community might even show up here and give us a taste of what the playoffs is going to be like, especially if you see a matchup between San Miguel Alab Pilipinas and probably the Macau Black Bears somewhere down the line.
Absolutely. You know, Yan Zhu is one of the guys that has truly been a spark or has provided at least a positive outlook for the Wolf Warriors. Entered the roster also some point in the middle of the season and immediately made it to the regular rotation as you see him get that steal. However, threw that a bit too high for Jong.
Well, they're lucky to get it back. Yeah, they're lucky to get it back. But going back to Yan Zhu here, this is one of the teams in progress in terms of looking for the right mix of players. Now, the Macau Black Bears, they were known as the Changsan Kung Fu, they had that winning formula already in their lineup. But for the Wolf Warriors, it may take them a little time, but they are looking for the right players. And they have sort of found a few already who could be keepers on their team.
Hey, Noel, here in the fourth quarter, very early, less than 2 minutes into this period. Already 3 fouls committed by the Black Bears. And Mike Bell capitalizing on it. Now up to 19 points to go along with his 12 rebounds, make that 20 markers for Big Mike.
And you sort of know that it's more of an aggressive day for Mike Bell, more aggressive than normal. They could still pull the rug from under the Macau Black Bears. Well, of course, if Anthony Tucker continues to shoot this way, it's going to be very hard.
Tucker practically says, what are you talking about, Noel?
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to Anthony Tucker before the game. He was very, very loose coming in. Again, that big win against Hong Kong, that sort of gave them so much confidence coming into this matchup.
And the game of Anthony Tucker, we've been talking about this for 2 seasons now, how interesting it is, because he does not really fit the mold of modern-day point guards, the athletic ones. He's that kind of a guy. He will not jump over people to dunk on them, but he will only do what's necessary to score or to set a teammate up.
Yeah, he gets numbers like Steph Curry, but he actually plays like the dad, Del Curry. That's a great alley-oop coming from the Wolf Warriors.
Mike Bell finishing that one. Second dunk that he's got in here. Mike McKinney, is there a way to stop that man?
Yeah, they're trying their best, but Mike McKinney, you know, he's turning this into his own personal matrix. Everybody taking turns and trying to stop McKinney. Went off the wrong leg that time and still got it to drop. and absorb the contact.
Earlier, back in the first quarter, we mentioned that that guy has 1,000,001 ways to score. I think we've seen about 2,005 of those ways in this game alone.
Well, I don't know. Probably at around the 4-minute mark. But they might not need to see more moves from Mike McKinney. This game could be over already by then.
27-point advantage for the Macau Black Bears. Have truly exerted their dominance over the Wolf Warriors. Jong almost losing it. Tian, baseline 3, no good. Derek King grabs that rebound. And Coach Mu wanting him to attack the basket. Unsuccessful though.
Yeah, against Chai Chen. Good luck with that. But again,
speaking of Chai Chen though, he was held down to a low output here in this game so far. Only 6 points, 7 rebounds on 3 of 9 shooting.
And that's it. McKinney's not even going to hit the 4-minute mark. He's going to take a seat already. So again, we do not see Ryan Watkins back in the game. We're going to see a bunch of locals come in. And you remember the last time these two teams met in Foshan, when it was local time, actually, the Wolf Warriors sort of got the advantage towards the end, chopping down that big lead.
Wolf Warriors miss again. Tucker, the only import on the floor. And he gets another assist. That's assist number 12 for Anthony. Already working with a double-double, but he needs 3 more rebounds to get to a triple-double here.
Yeah, just another day in the office for Anthony Tucker, the way he's been playing. The reigning world import MVP, boy, oh boy.
And what a strong move there for Corey Bradford, moving away the defense of Lai Katong. And it looks like from the mold of his body, that's a strength that he has. He's very strong for a guard.
Yeah, again, he's 6'1", but he's 40 years old. Brings a lot of positives on the floor, but you know by the way he moves, he's a natural 2-guard, trying to moonlight as a point guard. Now, again, without Chris Shento in the lineup, he's going to have to pick that up for the next 5 games.
What a block there for Mike Bell. The umbrella. And he really got all ball. Jan thought about the 3. Dished it out to Bell. This time, Jan will take it on the pass back, and that's a good decision for him.
If you're Matt Skillman, anything positive moving forward to the next game. They have 5 games left in their schedule. All is not lost yet for the Wolf Warriors. But, you know, you got to pick up a few positives as you can moving forward here.
There's a Macau Black Bear waiting at the officials' table to check in Lau Chon Pong. I'm curious if it's Anthony Tucker that he will be replacing. Only 5 minutes to remain in this ball game. Right now, it looks like the Black Bears will hold on to a victory.
Wow,
Tucker.
Oh, got tripped up.
That's exactly what he doesn't want to happen, or none of the Black Bears want to see here. The possibility of Tucker getting hurt, and they will take that away as Tucker heads to the bench for good. 4:50 remaining in this game with a 24-point advantage being enjoyed by the Black Bears. Cut to a timeout. We'll be back in a bit. Well, you remember when we were covering a Hong Kong Eastern game and we were talking about how O'Darian Bassett reminds us so much of Kemba Walker.
Kemba, you're absolutely right.
Corey Bradford really reminds me of Jamal Tinsley.
You know, I've been trying to figure out for the last 2 weeks who Corey Bradford reminds me of, and you hit it right on the head. You know, Indiana Pacers is one of my favorite teams. He was one of my favorite point guards when he was on there, and he does have a lot of Jamal Tinsley moments Although I would think that, you know, Corey Bradford might be more of the shooter between the two.
A 26-point lead as King scores again right after that timeout. And I don't think any of the imports of the of the Black Bears rather, will be back in this game. And again, we were talking about the tough schedule that they are going to have in the next few days. They are going to face San Miguel Alab Pilipinas tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
And then, Noel, after this back-to-back, Wolf Warriors today, Alab Pilipinas tomorrow, they head to Formosa to face the Dreamers in another back-to-back games, another back-to-back between the two teams.
Two games in Formosa.
Yeah.
On back-to-back days. That's going to be pretty tough. I mean, Formosa's playing excellent basketball right now. I mean, Tevin Glass, Artino, Miller. I mean, that team is loaded with talent, and it's just a great thing to see because Formosa only won one game the entire season 8. And now they're poised to make it to the playoffs. They've already qualified for the playoffs.
And also, Macau will face the Wolf Warriors again on March 17th. That's going to be in Zhuhai. So those are the games you need to watch out for. As for the Wolf Warriors, they've played a bunch of games already, 20 in total. This is going to be their 21st as Bell. He's just really padding the stat sheet right now. That is block number 4 for Mike Bell.
And imagine if they had a legit center in that lineup. If they had Eddie Curry in that lineup still strutting his stuff, then they could probably be a team to contend. But again, we're already looking forward to next season. We're not writing off the Wolf Warriors from the playoff picture. They can still probably make it, as we're going to have an offensive foul call against Macau. But they are, again, Judd, mark my words, one key local and one veteran import away from being relevant. We've seen what happened with the Formosa Dreamers last year. Look at where they are now.
That's right. And, you know, sometimes a team needs to experience adversity and, you know, just get their feet wet, get its feet wet. That's what the Formosa Dreamers did last season, and they fully got a grasp of what it takes to become competitive here in the ABL, made some major changes over the offseason, and now have clinched their seat in the playoffs of ABL 9.
All you need is the cohesion that comes with time. Remember the San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, when they also started, as Jong hits that runner, when they also started, they barely made the playoffs, and, you know, they got eliminated from the finals. And the next season, they come from behind and make it all the way to the finals and win. And right now, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, almost an unbeatable squad. I'm not saying the Wolf Warriors are going to attain that next season, but they could come close. Look at Formosa.
That's right. You know, it's all about rising to greatness, as we say here in ABL 9. Sometimes the process is slower for some teams compared to others, but as long as you get better and better, and of course that's the goal for the Wolf Warriors.
Now look at the CLS Knights. I mean, the CLS Knights didn't even qualify for the playoffs last year. Then they string together, what, 7 consecutive wins here in Season 9, and they're right in the thick of things right now. If the season ended right now, the CLS Knights would actually be in the playoffs.
Well, technically, you know, the Wolf Warriors could still make a run for the playoffs, but the remaining games, they face Saigon and then Formosa, 2 contenders also in ABL 9. As Lau Chonpong hits a 3-pointer.
He's got a lot of relatives, I guess, in the building.
Lee Jun answers back with his own.
He's got that. I mean, he's 6'10", but he does have that touch from the outside.
I remember visiting a Wolf Warriors practice before the season began, and team manager David Chu told me, look at that guy, number 33, he's Lee Jun. He doesn't look the part, but he's a dead shot from deep.
That's right, you know. Hey, Bill Lambier didn't look like he would be a dead shot from deep, but he was for his entire career. And Lee Jun, he's a project. If they can get him more minutes, you know, they can get him into game shape and play as much minutes as Sun Feng did against Formosa. Then again, he's a keeper for the Wolf Warriors.
We were talking about the schedule of the Wolf Warriors. In their 5 games remaining after this, they face Saigon, Formosa, Macau again, Formosa again, and then Hong Kong. It's going to be a tough climb if they truly want to make it to the playoffs.
Well, again, only 8 teams go through of the 10 teams that we have. It's interesting also what's shaping up there at the bottom. Well,
That's right.
That number 7 or number 8 spot now being contested by 3 teams. You have CLS, you also have Mono Vampire, and you have the West Sports Malaysia Dragons. That's going to be an interesting finish there.
The only scenario really where the Wolf Warriors can qualify, as you see that shot taking his time mid-air, was Unkam Chi.
Yeah.
And Lai with the steal. The locals of Macau making the most of this opportunity they are being given. Lai Katong with a 3-point play opportunity.
And how about all 3 imports for the Macau Black Bears coming off the bench and just congratulating the guy they call the Yao Ming of Macau, Lai Katong, hitting that finish.
Look at the number he's wearing too.
Yeah, that's right. Dead silence in this gym too, you know.
Absolutely.
This is going to be a very hard place to win games here, Jet, because you know that the Macau Black Bears, they actually have 3 home courts that we've already all visited. There's one in Nanhai, one in Foshan, and this one happens to be their favorite, at least, because they played their most number of home games here so far. But again, this gym is going to be so hard to win in because of the dimensions of what we have around us. The ceiling here is so high that it's unconventional for a gym in a school to have a ceiling this high.
That's true, and you know, there's a lot of factors. Sometimes players, they would tell you that playing in front of a gym that's huge is so different.
Yeah.
You know, the atmosphere, how deep the bleachers go. But Unkam Chi, he's not minding the dimensions in this building. He's only busy knocking down shots.
Yeah, they want to hit 100 right now. And this 3rd unit, a bunch of locals for the Macau Black Bears, also showing probably the coaching staff of San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, hey, we're here to help out our imports in case they need our help.
Zhong will miss. Spent too much time trying to dance in front of the defense.
Yeah, they're not going to shoot this one anymore. If the shot clock's been turned off, they'll just get this one across. But again, emphatic win here for the Macau Black Bears after blowing out Hong Kong just a few days ago. They take care of business here. Now the big business at hand will have to happen when they face the defending champions tomorrow.
Corey Bradford wanted the steal, so he picked the basketball up after
He got the
Lau.
steal. He got the steal.
Put it down. Count that steal for Corey.
Yeah, that's right.
But count the win for the Macau Black Bears. That is their 10th win of ABL 9, 99-65 is the final score, and really the dominance of the 3 imports of the Black Bears on full display.
Yeah, you know what? You could give player of the game to any of them right now. You know, Mike McKinney finished with 28 points, had 19 in the first half. Anthony Tucker, 3 rebounds shy of a triple-double in this game, and as well as Ryan Watkins scoring 17 and 10 with a double-double. You know, it was a complete team effort that we saw here from the Macau Black Bears, and the locals really put it away. But, you know, you can pick your best player of the game from any of those 3. McKinney probably had the breakout performance that they need against San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, and he's going to be playing up against his countrymen tomorrow. That's going to be interesting as well.
Absolutely, and Macau holds on to that 4th seed, now 10-7. As for the Wolf Warriors, they dropped to 2-19, still stuck at the bottom of the team standings.
Yeah.
That does it for us here from the University of Macau. This is Jot Sulid for my partner, Noel Zarate. We'll catch you again tomorrow as we bring you another game from this stadium. It's going to be the Macau Black Bears versus San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. Good night and see you tomorrow.
Don't worry about it.